And action.
We are the world.
Oh. Oh.
I have something to say. As Americans, I think we are guilty of the stereotype of being Americans in that we're a little bit insular in terms of our music. We're a little bit American music scene focused. We don't have a true understanding of music happening in other countries and other parts of the planet. Sure, there's been British invasion, and yes, people are into K-pop. That's Korean pop for my mom, so she
Are they into
understands what that
K-pop?
is.
People really are
Sure,
into
there
that?
are people.
Okay.
But it's my contention that we need to be more broad in terms of the kind of music that we're experiencing and learning about. We need more sitars and congas and bongos and lalalikas and djembes and bagpipes and this kind of stuff happening in our lives. So today, all that's going to change for you that are tuning into the podcast because benvenuto al podcast, the art of the playlist, musica del mondo, world music, global grooves. We got it going on for you today. And I'm here with my amici, Christian Godbout, and Robert LaFrance.
Hi there. That was a
Hi,
great intro,
Patty.
Patty.
Thank
Great
you.
intro.
I mean,
Very
why
nice.
aren't we watching Eurovision? Why aren't we watching the San Marino Fest? Why aren't we tuned into these things that are happening in other places?
I agree with you. I think it's very true. I think we're very guilty of, American music. But I will also say the beauty of America and the melting pot of America has brought all those musics from around the world, all those types of music, and made it American. So maybe that's a little bit of an excuse. I don't know.
Can we just forget the term world music though? I really hate that term. I always felt like world music was like the record store equivalent of the junk drawer in your kitchen. Like in America, we've got rock, we've got jazz, we've got pop. And there's sections of the record store that has a dedicated section for all of those types of music. But then there's like this bin off in the side of the
This little
store.
milk crate just in the
They
corner.
put a bunch of crap over there and say, "Oh, that's all the world music over there."
Yeah. Right.
You're right. So you're making my point that music from other places has been sidelined.
It has.
Yeah, in fact,
general.
some of my greatest musical discoveries just happened to be from, as we've talked about on other podcasts, Iceland. That's a big one for me. But I found great music from Australia, Colombia, Brazil, Japan, Ireland, all over the world. And it really wasn't intentional. Like, it's not like I planned, I have a checkbox. I'm trying to check off every country on my list. I was just trying to find good music from everywhere. And I found a lot of music that still fits my style, the style I like, but also could be qualified as international music or global grooves.
That's cool. How about you, Chris? How have you been influenced?
Yeah, I think a lot of like what Rob just said, in trying to find new music, and sometimes you get lucky and you find something that's got a good vibe and it's outside of the country, and then it kind of leads you down a path and you just keep checking out more and more of it, and it's great. But I will admit I am guilty of being more American music focused than I would like. I'm going to make a concerted effort to change my ways and become more worldly.
Listen, America has amazing music.
Of course,
don't get us wrong. But
yeah, absolutely. And I will say my trip to France last year opened my eyes to French music that I really hadn't listened to. And that's part of the problem for me anyways. I'm not as well traveled as I would like to be. I'm working on it, but it costs money. But as I get around the world, maybe I will be introduced to more music that I can really embrace, right?
Yeah, you just totally reminded me, Christian, when we were in France a few years ago on vacation to celebrate one of our anniversaries, Bernadette and I discovered some great music just on pop radio, like stuff that was just pop music, but it sounded so different that it was really interesting and I enjoyed it. And I ended up coming back home and downloaded a bunch of like French pop music. I didn't put it on my playlist because I just thought of that now. That was a good reminder.
Well, I threw some Edith Piaf on my list just to have kind of compliment that. But yeah, I agree. there was great music on the radio, and that's part of what happens is when you're in that region or that culture, you just kind of are naturally surrounded by it and you hear things. So that's part of our problem. We don't get out enough. I'm working on it.
That's all
You're more
a piece
traveled,
of the
Patty.
puzzle. Sure, sure. And certainly my playlist was inspired by travel, but other stuff too. One of the things I discovered when I was living over in Italy for a little while is that a radio station, like Rob said, I discovered this radio station out of Florence called Contra Radio, and you can stream it on the internet. You can stream radio stations from all over the world. And so you can get exposed to world music pretty easily if you have the patience and the time. I'm going to put a link to Contra Radio in this episode so that folks can check that out because they do play music from all over the world. It's not just Italian. So
One of my favorite radio stations in the world, literally, is 93.8 The Sound out of New Zealand. But they play mostly American and British music, I will admit. So it's, but at least it's, from the other side of the world.
That counts. We'll give you credit.
Right. Thank you.
It's a funny concept that you listen to a New Zealand station to listen to American stuff, but okay.
It's so good because what's great about it too is the commercials are entertaining. It's like how radio used to be before it got so commercialized. And it's for a lot of local mom and pop shops that obviously I'm not going to go buy from them or whatever. It's just for the entertainment. And I find the commercials much less annoying than I do here.
All righty then.
My 2 cents.
Well, Rob, why don't you kick us off and talk to us about your world-influenced playlist?
Okay, but before we get started, I'd just like to congratulate you, Patty, and you, Christian, for finishing in a tie for second place for this week's best playlist.
Oh, wait one moment.
Congratulations.
Thank
you.
I take umbrage at that.
You should. That's what my intent was. So I started with something on the discovery tip. So one of my inspirations for this playlist came from a YouTube mix by a guy named Derrick Gee. And if you don't know Derrick Gee, he's an Australian DJ, music curator, and what he calls like a professional music fan. So he's built this huge following. He does a series of like beautifully crafted mixes and DJ sets and artist interviews with like big artists. And a few weeks ago, he posted an Australian ambient mix or ambient. I think it's ambient, but I always say I don't know why, but he posted an Australian ambient mix. And I was like, that got me interested, made me curious, and I threw it on while I was working one day. And within about 10 minutes, I grabbed my phone because this amazing song came on. It was a song called Oculus by an artist called Luke Howard from Australia, released in 2014. And it's ambient, so it's not traditional kind of song structure, but it starts with the sound of just a vinyl record skipping like over the beginning of the track. And then it has, along with that skipping sound, a slow, gentle piano arpeggio, which is, in itself, it's kind of an interesting, two worlds collide kind of thing, but it evolves. And over the course of the song, strings come in, additional melodies come in, some subtle electronic sound effects come in. And by the end, there's a kind of a swirling whirlwind of sound, and you feel like you're in a completely different place than when the song started, which caught my ears up, and I really like that. So check that song. I put that song first on my playlist, but yeah, it's really cool. And then the second song I wanted to highlight was what I'm calling music beyond language. It's a song called Svein Glar by Sigur Rós, and they're from Iceland. And I've talked about this in the past on a previous podcast on our Sunday morning episode. I didn't know how to pronounce it then. I've since tried to figure it out, but it is Sigur Rós. I think I called it Sigur Rós or something. I don't know what I said in the previous episode, but that's the proper pronunciation. I've learned how to pronounce it now. But they're one of those bands that proves that the lyrics really don't matter almost to, they're not maybe the most important part of the song all the time, because the singer, oh, do I have to pronounce his name?
No.
Janse Janse Bergensen. He
Good
sings in
job.
Icelandic and sometimes some invented language that he invented on his own. And he sings falsetto. So I always thought it was a female singer. And so I have no idea what he's saying because of the different language and the falsetto. But somehow, even though I don't know what he's saying, I understand the feeling of the song. It's kind of a cycle through hope and reality. It starts out where you feel like you're kind of floating above the clouds and all optimistic, and then you kind of crash down to reality, and then you accept it finally. So it's kind of one of those things I love about music. Sometimes the emotion translates better than words could ever translate the feeling of a song. And so that's a cool one. Check that song out. I think you may probably it is kind of like a shoegaze kind of track, so it's in that vein, but you may like it. And then
Okay.
I'm gonna shift gears a little bit, and I'm gonna talk about a song that you probably both know. It's "Paper Planes" by MIA. So this is a song that was released in 2007. MIA is a UK artist that has Sri Lankan roots. So it's a global groove because of that. Also, her music kind of pulls from all different genres from around the world, from hip hop in America to electronic music, from dancehall in Jamaica, punk rock in the UK. And this song was produced by Diplo and
Oh.
samples the first 10 seconds of the song Straight to Hell by The Clash.
Oh,
You know that song?
Wow.
sure I do.
Okay.
Wow.
That's
So,
cool.
and it's kind of like that sampling where they just kind of take the first 10 seconds wholesale, and but it creates a groove, and then he injects her lyrics and some other instruments over the top. It became a worldwide smash back in 2007. So once you guys hear it, you'll recognize it. But you're talking about like British Sri Lankan artists using British punk songs. So that's really a global groove in its true definition.
Absolutely. I think I remember that tune, and I had forgotten about her, but that I'm gonna have to go back and check the music out.
Yeah, and it's a little more mainstream for my, especially for me on my playlist. So I think a lot of people will enjoy it. Um, and then another song that I featured was a song called Bola Dana, and this is going to be another pronunciation mishap. But the guy's name is Takey Bra Rocco, something
I'm
like
sure
that.
that's how he pronounces
So
it.
but he has a DJ along with him called DJ Marlboro. I can pronounce that. But this is a song out of Brazil that was released in 2004, and this is where my kind of DJ brain lights up. So Boladana comes out of the Bali funk scene in Rio. So in Rio de Janeiro in the 80s, there was this music that came out of the slums in that area, and it combined electronic music, kind of has that breakbeat Miami bass rhythm like True Life Crew. I think they sampled Africa Bambata, which samples Trans Europe Express by Kraftwerk from Germany. So
Wow.
another purely global groove because it touches from Brazil all the way to U.S. through Africa Bambata, and then also Germany as well with the Kraftwerk influence. But it's raw, it's loud, and it's designed to make you move. So you listen to that track and you can't help but move your body. So I think that's another kind of very accessible track that you guys will be into. And then I wanted to end my playlist with the perfect ending. And I've also talked about this song on another podcast. So it's a song called Love Manifesto
Oh,
by
yeah.
Black Widow and Immaculate. And this was released in 2020, so it's not super old. It's funny because I spent more time sequencing this playlist than maybe picking the songs. I spent a lot of time picking the songs too, but it begins very quietly, like I talked about, with that kind of slow ambient stuff, and then it introduces rhythm, and then a little groove, some movement, like I just talked about, and then finally joy. And this is why I put this song on. It's this song has the perfect ending because it ends you with the feeling of being really optimistic. It's a song that will remind you of your significant other and love in its deepest form. It's a song that talks about true long-term connection from two people. And so when you hear the spoken word vocal of the song and you think about your significant other, I think you'll really appreciate it. So I encourage you to do that. And that's the song that I close my playlist out because it ends on a happy note, which is really bad. We're out of character for me, but
No, but you had mentioned that with what, the date night playlist
yeah,
episode
yeah,
previously? Yeah, that's
that's
a
right.
beautiful tune. I'm gonna revisit it again. So that's great, Rob. It sounds like you represented a lot of countries, a lot of styles. You mentioned having a hard time sequencing your playlist. I also struggled with this. I think that because you're pulling music in from so many different influences and different instrumentations and different kind of production styles, that to get something that kind of flows rhythmically, I would say that my playlist ebbs and flows because that was just necessary to make it happen from a global grooves perspective.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes it feels like you're trying to put a round peg in a square hole, just trying to segue the songs. It's just sort of like, oh, okay, it gets a little clunky, but I'm sure you did a
It
great
can
job.
it can work. Sure. Thank
Yeah.
you. My influence, my first recollection of sort of being exposed to a concept of a world music wasn't really the bin at the record store, but I worked retail when I was in college, and I worked at a clothing store, and the clothing store had a music track playlist that they would play. Um, and it was all kinds of music. It was music from all over the world. It was music from all eras. Um, it had stuff like mambo and reggae and British music and Irish music. And it was very cool and very interesting and exposed me to a lot of different kinds of stuff. And that's when
Uh-huh.
I first started to consider, hey, you know what? I need to pay a little bit more attention to music that's from everywhere. So my playlist, spans like 70 years of music from the 50s to today, and it represents over 15 different countries. Um, I was influenced not only by that playlist when I was working retail, but also by my world travel and by travel from other members of our family. So I have stuff like Italians singing bossa nova. I have Americans singing mambo. I have Irish people singing singer-songwriter and rock music, Korean people singing jazz. So it's not only representative of the world, but also many genres of music across the board, which is probably similar to both of you guys, right?
Yeah, I didn't do my metrics though, Patty.
Okay.
So now I'm concerned that I'm losing this battle. So I might have to go back and do my metrics.
You know. So I opened my playlist with a song called Sympathetique by a band out of Portland, Oregon. So they're an American band called Pink Martini. And
Oh,
Pink
I know Pink
Martini, you're
Martini.
familiar with them? Yeah. Pink
Yes.
Martini is a romantic, retro kind of band that represents the world. They've actually recorded in 25 different languages. So you could just put on some Pink Martini albums and have a global groove experience if that's what you would like. So I thought it would be appropriate. I really like their stuff, and I thought it would be appropriate to start the playlist with their music. And then I moved through all different things. I made sure I put a steel drum band on there because I always liked the
Oh.
steel drum. I did stuff like um we recently went to see Marcus King. So I put one of his songs on the playlist because this is a global groove. So you could be listening to it anywhere in the world. So you could have some American folks on here as well. I have Italian artists and French artists. One thing I wanted to do was I wanted to represent um, Nora Jones and her father, Ravi Shankar, because Ravi Shankar, you did not know this, Rob?
I did
I
not
didn't
know
know this
that.
either.
Oh, yes. Her
I had no
Nora
idea.
Jones's dad is, so I have a Nora Jones tune and I have a Ravi
That
Shankar
explains a lot,
tune. And Ravi
right?
Shankar, for those of you who don't know, is a world-renowned sitar player, and he influenced and was George Harrison of the Beatles' sitar instructor. So he influenced a lot of the music of the Beatles back in the day. So yes, there's that connection, and I made it through my playlist as well.
Very cool.
I also included on my playlist Glenn Hansard, who's an Irish singer-songwriter who was just tragically killed in a motorcycle accident. He was famous in a movie called Once, and I put the song, the title track for that movie called Falling Slowly, or the most popular track from that movie called Falling Slowly on my playlist. And it kind of goes all over the board. I put Indian music, I put Pakistani music, I put Japanese music, I have Korean music. I close my playlist with a song from that playlist that I used to listen to in the retail store, which is Harry Nissen, Coconut. You guys would both know that song if you heard it. You put the lime in the
Yeah.
coconut and shake it all up. Yeah, so that song closes my playlist. So I too open and close in a happy way, and kind of explore the world through all the music. So I think that I am in first place in this moment. But now we have to see what Christian brings to the table to
Oh
really
my God, the
determine who
pressure.
wins.
I can't do this. It's too much. Yeah, so I will say that my world music, it is world music, but it does tend to lean a little bit American, I think, because it's what I know. So
That
you think of,
matters.
yeah, like Bamboleo by the Gypsy Kings, right?
Oh.
World music, but that's certainly something you would hear here in the States, right? People are familiar with that. And uh, Africa, Toto. I mean, I felt a little funny putting that on there, but I was like, all right, I'm going to do it anyway. Um, I knew I was going to hear it from Rob though. The
Did you
girl from
put you put the
Ipanema?
Weezer version? The
No,
Weezer version of
I
Africa?
did not. I went with
Thank
the
God. Thank
original.
God. All right,
Yeah,
good. Thank
the girl from Ipanema with Astrid Gilberto, because I love that song. It's on my jazz playlist, I think too, or one of them. Um, Under African Skies by Paul Simon. I thought that was a great song off of Graceland. I don't think it gets as much. It certainly doesn't get as much radio play, but I think it was a great song, and Linda Ronstadt sings on it as well. So I
Beautiful.
love Linda Ronstadt.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, 99 Love Balloons by Nina. Uh, Tiny Bubbles, Don Ho. Did you guys have any Hawaiian music?
I did
Oh,
not.
score one for me.
I need to go back and look at mine. I may have.
um, Deo by Harry Belafonte. You guys know that one, obviously.
Of course.
I put one in there just for fun. It's not really world music, but I put in Turning Japanese by the Vapors because it's a great song and it references Japan. So, you know,
That's a fun song for
it
sure.
is. Totally not world music, but whatever. La Vie en Rose by Edith Piaf, as I mentioned before. That's a great song. I heard it when we were in France in a Paris cafe, and it also was featured in Saving Private Ryan. I don't know if you guys remember that scene in Saving Private Ryan, but they're singing. It's a moment of quiet during the war, and they're just sort of sitting there. They found a turntable, and they're just kind of hanging around. The guy's interpreting the song for everybody, and then all of a sudden the war breaks out again, and it was a powerful moment in the movie. I thought. La Bamba, Richie Valens, Smooth Santana, Mambo Number Five, Lou Bega.
Love it.
I Zimbra by the Talking Heads talk about a song you mentioned. You had a song that I think was an Icelandic song that was lyrics that didn't make any sense, and that's what this is. It's not real words, but it has a great vibe. It's a good song. Whiskey in the Jar. I use the Thin Lizzy version on that because it rocks. I put ABBA in there. Did you guys have any ABBA? Patty might have.
I did,
No?
I did not have ABBA, but that's legit.
All right, Waterloo. Daft Punk, some Trench House, Waka Waka, um, Biko, Peter Gabriel.
Great song.
Great song, right? I love that. And then I too closed it out with a happy song, "Turn the Beat Around" by Vicky Sue Robinson,
All
because it's just a little
right.
disco at the end there, right?
You
How is
represent
that international?
it
It's a
represents
Latin.
the United States.
Well, it's a conga song. It's a conga
True.
disco. So yeah.
You're stretching the definition, Christian, but
All
I
right,
appreciate
fine.
that. There are no rules.
There are no
That's
rules.
right.
I won't do what you tell me.
That's right. Well, that
So
was a beautiful look at the entire world. I think it would be exciting if everyone went out and listened to our playlists. Final thoughts, Rob, Chris?
I think
I
this was
just think
fun.
that, yeah, great music doesn't need to be from a certain country or even from the U.S. It doesn't need a passport. It just can be from anywhere. As long as it's great music, it
That's right.
should be on one of our playlists. So listen to it and find your next international song.
There are no borders
Yes.
here.
That is true. We're listening to everything all the time. So even though we focused on global grooves this podcast, we're always putting different kind of interesting songs on our playlist. So we hope you keep tuning in, tell your friends. Please subscribe, because that'll make a big difference to all of us. And remember to trust us and not the algorithm. And one more thing. It's true. We'll make a brighter day, just you and me. Thanks.
All right, Patty.
Bye now.
Bye now.
Bye.